Well, my name is Myriam, last name Sinclair Dwyer, otherwise known as Mimi. I've been going to Global since 2007. I am here to share with you what God has done and still is continuing to do in my life. Well, when I was young, I was diagnosed on December 25th in the 1980s with type 1 diabetes. There's a difference between type 1 and type 2. Type 2, you can do something about it. Type 1, you have it. So that's insulin and everything. So throughout my life, I went through all of the don'ts and do's and make sure that everything was okay. And as any disease progresses, there are always complications. So I will fast forward to 2019 was a huge year for me. The amount of hospital visits is up to 45, which includes 30 911 calls. It just wasn't working. But as we go closer to Christmas, again, December 25th, 2019, I went to the hospital, and that's when they discovered that my kidneys had failed completely. It was operating at 2 to 3%, which is not enough for you to live comfortably. I started dialysis. I joined a group. I went from different centers, from center to centers, until I ended up at Centenary. So I did dialysis in the midst of COVID. I had to have everybody leave the house because obviously we didn't know with immune systems. So I did COVID by myself. It was Zoom and me. We spent a whole lot of time together. We spent time, but it's more of a time that God had me still. I was quiet. I was alone, but I wasn't lonely. So we went through the COVID. I was accepted into a transplant program, which normally takes a long time, on October 16th, which is my birthday, in 2021. And then I got a call in January to say, hey, we found a donor. And so I went in and they came on like, oh, it's not a good kidney. So I went back. I went back in February and they said, hey, we have it. So again, I have my little backpack and I'm ready to go. And they're like, oh, it's not working. So finally in April 2022, I do get a call and they said, this is it. I'm like, okay, sure. But I did go in the hospital. I did only warn a few people because I didn't want the past 2 failures to affect anything. But my dad said something that I can't forget. He said, Myriam, do you know that if the day that you were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, if God had answered our prayers exactly that day, that time, that moment, your mom's faith and my faith wouldn't be as strong as what it is today. So thank you for being used by God. So on April, Good Friday, 2022, I went into Toronto General Hospital with a lighter backpack because I've learned you don't need all that stuff. And at midnight, they did the surgery. So I looked at the surgeon. I said, did you have a good night's sleep? He's like, yeah. I said, good. To the other one, I said, you didn't go out and party or do anything that you're supposed to the night before? He goes, no. I said, that's good. To the rest of you, if you hear a voice telling you to do something other than what you've always done, you need to listen. Because I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, there's at least 3,000 people around the world, because I had Japan, Haiti, Jamaica, the United States. Everybody was praying that night for me. You need to listen. And then they were coming with the little mask, which takes you out. And I said, wait, and I'm gonna leave in 5 days. Now, where did that come from? It has to be God. Ooh, how do I know? Never had a double organ surgery. So I did receive a brand new pancreas, no more type 1 diabetes. I did receive a new pancreas, no more dialysis at all, and everything is working and true to what God had said to me. 5 days later, I had a heavier backpack, but I had my backpack and my parents were waiting for me at the bottom, at the entrance of the hospital, and I walked out. So my encouragement to all is don't look at what you have, don't look at what you don't have, don't look at what you can and cannot do. Do not look to the side, but just choose God. Choose joy. With the joy, you would do things that you can't even imagine. To this day, when I go in for checkups, the surgeon is shaking his head. He's like, I don't know whose God you are serving, but that was amazing. They call me the miracle lady who smiles all the time. that's what I'm leaving behind. That's a legacy, and it only points back to God. So don't forget, surround yourself with community. The idea of being in a small group is amazing because they can pray you through things, around things, while you're in things, and after you are done. The rejoicing and the blessing is theirs because they chose to run life together. So that is my story, and my name is Myriam.